Whoo, what's going on? What's going on? So, news is coming out that the Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez fight might be completely off, and we all know that it was supposed to happen supposed to be tomorrow. Actually, that's when the fight was supposed to happen, but then Triller was talking about they wanted to move it to the 16th to the Barclays Center because I guess they wanted to mix it in with the other event that they're having, the versus battle or whatever, and they thought it'd be a better situation. And because they quote didn't want to compete with Monday Night Football, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, just due to the fact that they already have the schedule when it comes to Monday Night Football. They had that before they even set up the bout. So to think that, oh, okay, now they want to do this is moronic. And also just didn't make sense just due to the fact that, you're quote Triller, you're somebody that's new. Usually you have to spend money. You're gonna have to take losses in the beginning of that. That's just what it is. So even if you have to set up a bout, and let's say you're not selling tickets and you only have 2,000 people in the venue, so be it. You only have 2,000 people in the venue. How many fights have we seen with DAZN in the United States? Especially a lot of some Eddie Hearn events where there's no one in the crowds. Even some Oscar De La Hoya events where there's no one in the crowds. Where they have to black out 80-90% of it. But just, it is what it is. When you're coming up, if you're trying to make certain moves, that just might be something that you have to do. Might just have to take those L's, But we know back to kind of what they were doing. As it pertained to this particular situation, though, they wanted to quote move it to the whatever date was, the 16th. And I guess they gave Teofimo Lopez a contract for that date, and he just signed it. They gave Kambosos the contract to sign it, and he said, first he wanted $300,000. He said, I want to get an extra $300,000 to do the bout. Which, if you supposedly spend all this money and you really want to get this, done, you're not gonna cancel an entire event over $300,000. Doesn't make any sense. And even when it came to somebody like a Teofimo Lopez, I was thinking to myself, if you're Teofimo Lopez, if I'm Teofimo Lopez, if I have to give $300,000 out of my purse so he can do the bout, I'm going to do the bout, because you gotta just look at it. If this bout gets canceled and then the next person underneath takes it, I'm making millions of dollars less. So I'm gonna take a $300,000 L. I'm gonna write up my taxes, by the way. I'm gonna write that bitch up my taxes and get that bread back anyway. Then what's it called? Then say no to giving away $300,000 and take a multi-million-dollar L. Doesn't make any sense when you look at the situation, But that wasn't the only thing. Triller said no, they're not going to give him the $300,000. So he gets the contract. This is a part that a lot of people aren't talking about. On the contract, Kambosos' name is spelled incorrectly on the contract. No one's talking about that. Not only was his name spelled wrong on the contract, there was no venue on the contract. It just said that it could happen in New York, California, Florida, and they gave one other location that it could happen to that I don't remember what location it was. But that was 4 different locations that they gave. And then on top of that, they weren't willing to put his money in escrow before the bout, which is very, very, very important, because Triller's money is kind of funny. Their money's funny. There've been a lot of people. There must be a reason why Mike Tyson isn't going back over there. There's a reason why Paul didn't go back over there. You got this entity. I started questioning them just due to the fact that I'm like, if they're so big and they're doing these big numbers, I thought to myself, then why aren't people going back there? Why aren't they retaining their fighters? Why aren't they, onto their platform? Why don't they continue to go back to them? So I knew there was something just off when it came to that anyway. With the numbers that they give out, number one, and then when it comes to that bread, because the only reason somebody wouldn't go back is because you didn't get your money the way that you thought you were supposed to get it. And I remember even Regis Prograis, I think they were talking about rumors that he didn't necessarily get all the funds that he was supposed to for his bout that he had on that network platform as well. So they weren't willing to do that either. So your name is wrong on the contract. That's number one. Number two, they're not willing to put your money in escrow. That's number two. And number three, there's no location. You're supposed to have this bout in 2 weeks, and you don't even, quote, technically know where you're going. They never even contacted Barclays, to tell them that, hey, we're putting this, event at your platform. That was never even done. And you got to remember, Kambosos' management team, they used to work also with Al Heyman, so they clearly know people at the Barclays that they can call directly and get information from them. So looking at all those situations, they knew that this bout wasn't going to happen. They knew that these people were playing games. There was sketchy thing was going on as it pertains to this bout. That's why they said nah. They wanted defaulted. They want the IBF to default it, which would mean the 20% that they were giving, they were supposed to give 20% right up front. So since they were supposed to give 20% right up front, at least this kid Kambosos can recoup some money, get $400,000 or whatever, minus whatever his management team gets. This guy's been paying for training. He's been away from his family. He's spent, a lot of funds in the last year plus. Going through probably, you could say this thing has been extended out, 2-3 times? So that's a lot of time away from his family and a lot of money that's coming out of his pocket. He's not a millionaire like Teofimo Lopez. He don't got money like Teofimo Lopez. So to have just maybe spending money out of your bank account, or to put yourself into a space where you got to take money from your management team or from your promoter, who's probably going to tax you on that. That's major for him. That's real major for him. So I think that's why they did that. They wanted to do that where they can put these people into a space where either DAZN, which was the second person who had bid, can go ahead and take control of the fight, or if they don't want to do it, then ESPN can take control of the fight, and at least you can get something. You can get something out of the situation. So for everybody, everybody was wondering why he wouldn't sign the contract, or why he wouldn't just push forward to the 16th. That's why. These are the reasons why no one's really talking about this. Everybody thinks it's kind of like he just he's being hard-headed, and it's like, well, might as well just wait for 2 weeks. You're not going to get another chance at 3 belts and this and that. But the reality is the fight was never going to happen anyway. And now they're saying that Triller's pulling out because they've supposedly already lost like $10 million trying to basically do this bout. And so because of that, now they're going to go ahead and they're going to pull out, and which means the next person would have to take over. But that means that they'll definitely be defaulted. That's number one. And they'll never be able to bid on the IBF belt again. They're putting themselves into a bad position where if you want to be involved in boxing, this is terrible. Just because no one's going to take you seriously. What are you going to bid on next? What are you going to bid on next? What can you bid on that people are going to take you seriously? If you're doing this, the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, they're all going to look at you sideways. There's no guarantee that any of these entities are going to take any of your bids seriously. For you to have a debacle like this for a small fight like this, like everybody was talking about, oh, Triller, they might bid on, Crawford versus Sean Porter. Like, no, they're not going to bid on Crawford versus Sean Porter. You know what? Especially after this, you honestly think the WBO would allow them to do that? Or would have taken them seriously? They would have defaulted them right off the rip. Second, this was defaulted, they would just automatically defaulted that bout right away. And said, nah, this bout's probably not going to happen. We're not going to play games with these people. So they're putting themselves into a really bad space if this is the market that you want to be involved in. If this is the market that they want to be involved in, they need to just taking that L. Take the L, go ahead, have the bout, and do your thing. Take the loss. That's what you do when you're coming into the market like this. But for some weird reason, they're coming into the market in a way where they want to make money still. They want to make money off the bouts, off the rip. They want to make profits off the rip. And they're clearly not even making enough money off these events to pay the purses and the funds that they've been promising people. They're out of there. So I guess we gotta wait for everything to be 100% completely confirmed. And if everything works out the way they're saying that it's working out, then I don't know. I don't know why DAZN would take this bout, but I'm guessing ESPN will take it. If DAZN takes this bout, I think it's moronic. Stupid. Like, invest in getting someone to fight Devin Haney or something. Do that. But it is what it is. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.